In our last video, we made this site, just some basic structure on how to make a HTML5 template site. There's a couple things I want to improve is the navigation, maybe, and maybe add a cool background, and actually throw in some real content rather than just a couple practice divs with some practice LIs and just to get the flow of things. So let's make this a little bit more legit. We're going to get our nav, we're going to make our nav better. So we're going to get rid of all this margin and padding that we recently had. Let me make this bigger for you guys. Instead of display in line, we're going to float left these LIs that are inside of the navigation. And now we want to target the anchors that are inside of the LIs. And we're going to display blocks on anchors because by default anchors don't have any height or width, so you have to give them display block. And let's see what that looks like real quick. We'll give them some padding, 10 pixels, and we'll give them a hover effect, LIA hover. Shit. And we'll give this hover effect a background color of this cool green color that I copy and pasted from Photoshop. And we'll give our header a background color of 444, which is the dark gray. Let's give our text a color of white. And let's see what that gives us. Okay. And somewhere, so let's take off the text decoration that we have on our hover. So text decoration, none on our hover. And when you hover over it, let's give it a color of a dark gray, 444. And this hover effect is going to be the same thing as the active that we currently did in our last step, or my last video I had. And cool, we got an awesome nav that the anchors are displayed block, so it gives them width and height. And awesome. Let's for good practice, usually your H1 in your site is a logo. Usually it's a picture. In our case it's just text right now. But for good practice this would be an anchor. And it's not going to go anywhere. Well, it's going to go to the home page, which is index.html. It's just for good usability, but we're going to give I'm going to say an A after the H1, so we're targeting the anchor tag inside of the H1. And we're going to give that a color of white. And when you hover over H1A, we're going to give it a text decoration of none. Cool. And all the way down here, well, I'm going to copy and paste this. So for our A's down here, when we hover, we'll get rid of that. So, cool. So all of our A's on this page will have our cool green color. And all the A hovers will have an underline, which we'll go over later. So when you click this, it brings to the home page. Cool. And now let's get rid of what we have inside of here and make something cool. The theme I'm going to go with is a gaming site. So inside of our HTML, we're going to get rid of everything inside of the left and the right. So if you went with the basic, this is the basic template we have here. We have our header tag that we did previously. If you didn't go over all the videos, this is our template we have. We have a wrapper. Inside of a wrapper we have a header, which is our nav, and our h1, which is our logo or just text. And then inside our div class we have content, and we have a left and a right and a footer. So maybe after this header we want to put a banner, a cool banner of like a, I don't know, some image that we're gonna find. So we're gonna call it banner, and we'll close that div. And right now there's nothing in it. So let's give that banner div that we just created, that's pretty much in our header, so we'll put it here. Banner, we'll put it in our header right here. We'll just give it a height of 200 pixels. Alright. Let's go find a picture of something in a game, Black Ops. An image. Let's find something large here. This looks cool. Full size image. I'm going to copy this image. I'm going to come over here to Photoshop, and I'm going to make a new document. And as soon as you make a new document, file new, the thing that you just copied and pasted, it gives you this width and height. So then I can just copy and paste. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to make a new one, and we'll give it a width of 960 because that's how the width of our CSS is. That's the width of our website, 960. So I'm going to give it a total of that. And sure, that looks pretty cool. And anytime you save a picture in Photoshop and you're going to use it for the web, click for File, Save for Web and Devices, and then you have different formats up here. JPEG is usually your best bet unless you want high quality PNG 24. This is always has a good image, but the file size is really big. So you usually want a 300K image. It takes a while to load, and you can just use a JPEG, and that greatly reduces it down to 26. And the quality up here, I can maybe make it 66, and that all the way at the bottom left here, it tells you the size. So the quality 100% is 140. We don't want that. We want to reduce as much as we can without losing much quality in this picture. So like 40% is good. And down here we have 30K, so that's a really small image. It's not going to take very long to load at all. So we're going to put that in our site images folder, and we're going to call it banner. So then we're going to come over to our banner. We're going to give it a background image URL. This image in reference of the CSS. So this is where CSS is. We need to go back a file. We need to go back out of this CSS folder, because right now we're in our CSS. We need to go out of this folder and go into the images folder to get that image. So to do this, we need to go backslash. That brings us out of this folder, backslash, and then we need to go inside of images. Once you're inside images, I'm going to grab this banner. So images slash banner.jpg. Cool. And there's our image. So I'm going to give this left and right. Let's put something inside here. Let's put some H2 tags and we'll style them cool like. So we'll say this is a header news. I'm going to copy and paste that in the right. Maybe this one's matches. Okay. So here's our header news and our matches inside of our left and right content. So in our left, we don't want this background color. We don't want a background color at all. We don't want none of this padding and width that we had originally. So in our left div, we just have it float left and float right. So inside of the H2, which is down here, let's give this a background color of 444. It's a dark gray, and we'll give it some text indent of 10 pixels, and we'll give it a color of white. Let's see what that gives us. Alright, and we'll give our left a width. Our total width right here is 960, so we'll just give our left a width of 300 pixels and our right a width of whatever's left. So 300 minus, or 960 minus 300 is 660, I think, hopefully. Alright, we have some extra margin and padding on here, so we have padding on this content right here, 10 pixels, so you have to take and count for that, because when we inspect this element in our content, that purple right there is our padding. So whenever you add up the width, you have to subtract that padding, and there's 10 pixels from this side, 10 pixels from this side. It would be 660, but since we're taking off 20 pixels, it's 640, and then that works. And we'll give our right box margin of some right margin 10 pixels. That'd be left. 10 pixels left. Doing that, we'll have to make this 630 now. So there's a little space here. And we'll also give our H2 padding 10, let's say 5 pixels top and 0 pixels on the side. Cool. And then maybe we'll style it even more and put text transform uppercase. Cool. And we'll even get some letter spacing. 0.04 EMs. Give it some little extra space between the letters. It's always good.